Hello viewers, I am Kumar Behera, ex-instructor, Nicholson Forest Training School, Champua. Aji, Rule 4 and Rule 12 of Odisha Timber and other forest produce transit rules 1980 और details discussion करिया. Rule 4 रे जहाँ किसी अच्छी सेटा भी मैं details करिदेवी तासे तो Rule 12 कारण 4 and 12 is most important in this OT and O.F.P.T rules on its mercy. So Rule 4 except as provided in Rule 5, all forest produce in transit by land, rail or water shall be covered by a permit hereinafter called the timber transit or transit permit to be issued free of cost by Division Forest Officer or the Assistant Conservator of Forest authorized by the Division of Forest Officer. It is provided that the range officer or a forester, when duly authorized in that behalf by the Division of Forest Officer, may issue transit permit in cases where no verification at the top side is necessary. That means HCF can be issued the transit permit as per authorization of the DFO. And also range officer and the forester, they can also issue transit permit as per authorization of the DFO. When both SCF and range officer forester can be authorized, what is the difference? Here the difference is SCF can issue TT format where the timber has been cut from that point. But when the stump will be verified or one tree has been cut from a standing point, when stump can be verified in the particular case, SCF will issue that transit permit. No range officer or forester may not be allowed or authorized by the DFO for the issue of transit permits. That is the difference between SCF and range officer and forester. Range officer and forester can issue transit permit as per authorization of the DFO, where timber is not transported from a stop site. Next कहला provided further that respect of minor forest produce. Nowadays 74 items of MAP has been made transit free by the government of Odisha. In the particular case, no transit permit is required for transit of 74 items. That means almost all the products has been allowed except some product which has been mentioned in that list. Here again, in some cases, supervisor having passed the matriculation can issue TT format at the OFPT limited depot. That means in case of supervisor in that depot can issue TT permit as per government who have been part of matriculation. That is the most important point for them. So, as per Rule 4 of OT and O.F.P.T rules, what is important? Here important is any forest produce except in Rule 5 needs transit permit for its transportation from one point to another point. That's why it is most important. Everywhere, every case. Next, Rule 12. Retention for transit permit. Most important. Any person to whom a transit permit issued under these rules shall be bound to follow the direction given in the transit permit or to retain it with him so long as forest produce covered by the transit permit or remain in his possession and to produce it for inspection at any time before it is disposed of if and when required by the forest officer not below rank of forest. It's a कहला any person to whom a transit permit is issued under these rules shall be bound to follow the direction given in that rule. That means, for example, one forest produce was transported from the point X to another point Y. From point X, when the transit permit will be issued at that point, then the forest produce will transit from point X to point Y. In the particular case, if the direction has been mentioned, the produce will follow in the particular direction. If direction is changed, then case will be put accordingly as per violation of rule 12 of this OT and O.F.P.T rules 1980. Next, if one person has purchased some timber from any government or private depot authorized by the DFO, then he has been issued TT permit or sell receipts. Those TT permit and sell receipt will be possessed by that person till disposal of those forest products. That means here is remains in his possession and produce for its inspection at any time. Number one during transportation forest produce can be checked and that forest produce must follow the direction given in that permit. Number two, if any person has forest produce in his house, then as per Rule 12, you must possess the permit, transit permit, till that forest produce consumed fully. That means, for example, a person has purchased 100 CFT timber from a government depot or OFPT limited depot. That person brought from that depot to his house with a permit that is called TT permit, and that forest produce kept in the house of that person, and that person utilized, for example, 80 CFT of forest produce for doing any work in his house and left 20 CFT as such in his house. That means that person has purchased that 20 CFT from that government depot, and those have been transferred as per permit. And that permit must be retained by that person till that balance 20%, 20 CFT timber used 100% or fully. For example, 10% used and 10 CFT has been used, and if the person loses or we cannot find that permit, in the particular case, those timber will be illegal timbers. If that person could not show that permit to the forester, one demanded by the forester, that person will face forest offense because he could not retain that permit with him till disposal of that timber. That's why it is most important, because the forest officials are making house raid in the house of any person, because those persons, though has forest produce in their house, in their possession, but if they have not produced in a legal manner, they should not have any document or treaty permit with them, for which they will face a forest case, because they could not produce any document, legal document or treaty permit to the forester concerned at the time of verification. If the person could not produce that treaty permit as per demand of the forester, then the whole forest produce will be seized by the forester of the concerned area. That's why forest raid will be done as per government instruction, and case will be booked violation of rules 4 and 12. 4, that means for transportation of any forest produce from any point to another point needs a transit permit. That person may not have a transit permit. And possession, though he has forest produce in his house, but he has not any valid documents or treaty permit to be produced before the forester on demand. That means when forester will demand to see the treaty permit, if the person could not show it, that is violation of Rule 12 of OD and O.F.P.T rules. And Rule 4, because he has not any treaty permit with him. So violation of Rule 4 and 12 leads to penalized under Rule 21 of this OT and O.F.P.T rules. That is important. That means possession of forest produce in his house must have treaty permit or valid document. Because, for example, one private depot has been opened, and as per instruction of a DFO, the person will give or sell his forest produce within a particular area, within a particular jurisdiction. He will give a receipt. If that forest produce will be sold any person outside that particular jurisdiction of, as per instruction of DFO, will be required by a TT permit. That means that forest produce will be transferred as per instruction of DFO by a TT permit. If there is no TT permit outside the jurisdiction of that depot, the case will be booked accordingly, though it has been purchased from the particular depot authorized by the depot. That's why it is most important. That means within the jurisdiction of that particular depot, private depot, as per instruction of depot, there is no need of any transit permit. That's why, if a person is residing within that jurisdiction, has purchased some timber from that private depot, should keep that receipt of the timber depot with him till utilization of that forest produce. Otherwise, if let it 50% used and 50% returned with that person. In the particular case, that person must keep that receipt he has received it from that private depot till disposal of that balance 50% CFT, 50% CFT of that product produce which has been purchased from that depot. If that person lost it, then case will be booked accordingly. If, for example, a person has collected from any timber from any illegal source and kept inside his house, when a forest raid will be done in the particular house, the forester will ask for that TT permit or any valid documents. If there is no valid document or TT permit, then forester will book case for violation of Rule 12 and 4 and will be paralyzed under Rule 21 of the O.T. and O.F.P.T. Rule Municipality. That's why most important. And another rules will be discussed later on. Thank you all.